But the number one consistent thing that people talk about here is, I've got to reduce weight.
Well, hey guys, today I want to talk about prepping for your Appalachian Trail hike food-wise. What to carry, how much to carry, and again, how to use your body to your advantage to save weight and to save time, specifically your first 30 or 40 miles of your thru hike. And this goes along with any kind of long distance backpacking trip you're going to do, from kind of being at home in your comfy spot to all of a sudden being on the trail and burning 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day. I'm going to show you exactly what your body does and how to use that to your advantage. The second thing I want to talk about today, and I want to kind of talk about hiker hunger and what happens to your body after the first 300 or so miles. And then I want to talk about kind of a new trend that is a little weird to me. It's really cold soaking your food and going stoveless. I've seen a lot of videos about that, so we're going to do some testing, and I'm going to give you some ideas on why you do not have to do that at all. And we're going to look at weight. Does that actually save weight? Does it add weight to your backpack? So we're going to debunk a few myths about that and give you some general ideas on how to get that mental boost on your Appalachian Trail thru hike when hiker hunger sits in and you're ravenous for food. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so let's start out in the beginning, right? You're prepping for the Appalachian Trail. You've gone over gear. You've talked about food, but nobody really talks about what happens to your body when all of a sudden you go from your normal routine during the day. Maybe you've prepped and done some exercising. Maybe you think you've gone to the gym a few times a week. Maybe you're running a little bit. Maybe you're hiking a little bit. But are you prepping to burn, 5,000 calories a day? Just like that. And we're going to try to make it up and over Blood Mountain today. Can't be any worse than the mountains I've already climbed. So we're going to go for a 15 mile day. Probably not. So let's talk about the truth about what happens to your body and how you can use your body to save some weight in your food bag. And again, I'm a huge proponent when doing research on a long backpacking trip on what are the conditions of the terrain and how is that going to affect my body. And remember, your body is a piece of gear. So let's go from the beginning. I'm going to go backpack the Appalachian Trail. I'm not going to do the approach trail. I'm going to start right on Springer Mountain, and I'm going to hike to Neal Gap in about 30 miles, which is about 3 days, 4 days worth of backpacking, 3 nights for sure, 3.5 days, maybe 4.5 days, right, to get there. It's 30 miles. So what happens to your body when all of a sudden you just start climbing uphill and you do a ton of physical exertion? Well, here's the myth. Oh, I'm going to need a lot of food out there, man. I'm out in the wilderness. I'm going to need a lot of food. So people plan for the worst case scenario. They're packing 6-7 days worth of food. You don't need to do that. I'm going to show you and prove to you that you need very little food in your first 3 to 4 days on your Appalachian Trail thru hike. So let's look at some facts. First of all, fact number 1, does extreme exercise suppress your appetite? Absolutely it does. So when you go from, even if you're burning 500 to 600 calories a day, maybe you're doing some jogging, maybe let's even go up to 1,000 calories a day. Are you like just boom, going out there and putting full head force of steam out there right away? You're probably not. You're probably just exercising at a moderate to easy pace. Maybe you're going to the gym and you're riding the bike for an hour, whatever that case is. For most people that start their Appalachian Trail thru hike, they're not even doing that. The big myth is, oh man, I'm going to get in shape while I'm on the trail. I'm going to really physically get in shape. Yeah, you will, but not right away. So let's use that to your advantage to help get you to that point before you quit the trail. So the fact is that when you exude a bunch of energy, a bunch of exercise right away, you're actually suppressing your appetite. So the more rigorously you exercise, the more you're reducing your appetite. Now, this is a study by in 2013 University of Western Australia study that's published that says exercising more rigorously will reduce your appetite more than exercising moderately or gently. Now, even although moderate and light exercise could also help suppress your appetite, the study says. Now, that's a fact. Now, I know this from my own personal experience that usually when I'm on a long distance backpacking trip, and I remember it well when I did it in 2003, I remember when I hiked half of the Appalachian Trail in 2008, remember on the Arizona Trail and all the other trails I've done long distance backpacking trips on, is that my first few nights, I'm really not that hungry. As a matter of fact, I have a hard time finishing a meal. So let's use that to your advantage. So if you are putting a ton of food in the first 30 miles of your backpacking trip, you probably get away with about 1.5 pounds of food per day, which means 4 pounds worth of food is more than adequate to get you to Neil's Gap and then resupply. Okay, so you're on your way to Neil Gap. You should only be carrying about 1.5 pounds of food. What do you bring? Well, you're really teaching your body that, hey, I'm about to change my lifestyle. I'm about to completely radically change how you digest food, how you burn calories. You don't need to be burning calories. You don't need to be taking fat from my body to supplement my energy. I'm going to teach my body all of that. And that's some of the things that your body does go through, you know, specifically your first 100 miles of the Appalachian Trail, because your body needs time to catch up with your new lifestyle. And if I can teach anybody anything on a long distance backpacking trip where you're going to be out there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, a through hike on the AT, which is 5, maybe 6 months, it is a lifestyle change. And most people aren't prepared for that. It's a lifestyle change. You're completely changing the way you live your life, right? The first thing I would suggest is before you go, eat one of these mountain house foods before you hit the trail. This is at home, or empty it out in a bag, whatever you need to do. But carry an empty bag with you, okay? We recycle these all the time. And why do we recycle these? Because then we can make our Nor foods, which are these, our Nor foods. Now, we don't use freezer bags. We don't have to use freezer bags because there's a billion of these bags out there. So we usually buy the one single serving meals at Walmart. They're cheaper. They run about $4.80 compared to the $9 that the 2-person bags are sold at REI. So we buy the single versions. And then what I do is I take this bag and I split it in 2. Another thing I do in the morning time to kind of like change up my meals a little bit when I'm really out there is I get my little platy. This is just a 1 liter collapsible platy. And I get some Carnation instant milk. I pour my milk in here, my powdered milk in here, and I usually put these all in baggies and I separate it and organize all my food. I'll put this in the creek. I'll get some cereal, or I may even package my own oatmeal here, and I'll have like cereal for a couple days, or I'll have like some milk with my oatmeal. Sometimes, you know, I'll just have like a Carnation instant breakfast, which is very lightweight. Okay, so exactly how much weight do you burn hiking the Appalachian Trail? Well, in the beginning, you are going to be, like we said, you're going to be doing a lot of strenuous exercise, and you're probably suppressing your appetite a little bit. But how many calories are you burning? So remember, 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. Okay, now, of course, that varies between your size, your body weight, your physical ability, things like that. But 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. You need to burn 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound, okay, to equal 1 pound. You have to hike more than 3,500 calories to start losing weight. You're not going to be burning that many calories consistently until you are really like 5-6 days into your hike. And by that time, your body's going to say, well, wait a minute, I think I see a trend going on. I need to adapt my body and my chemistry in my body to adapt to what you're doing. So in the beginning, you're suppressing your appetite. You're burning calories, but you're not going to be as hungry. You're still burning maybe 4,000 calories a day, but you're not really in the process of losing weight yet. You're going to have to take a while. So that's why we recommend some different lightweight foods that you can kind of get you by until you start really getting that really burning those calories. So on the trail this year, we heard a lot about cold soaking your food, right? It saves weight, it saves time, you don't have to carry a stove, but does it? And what value does it have for you in your backpack, and what value does it have in your body? So in the video I watched, they took ramen noodles and some refried beans, and they made a ramen bomb, which is kind of popular, right? Well, does it save weight, and is it of good value? So what I did was I looked at a couple things. I looked at calories, I looked at the time it took, but I looked at the weight. And so I've got a scale right here. It's my ounce scale that I use for backpacking, right, all the time. And let's measure some things, and let's look at what he talked about as far as value to you, your backpack, and to your body. First of all, I have a container with 16 ounces of water in it. That would be roughly what it would take to rehydrate ramen noodles and the refried beans. So let's look at weight first of all. So I'm turning on the scale. Let's add this up. So the first thing I see is that 16 ounces of water weighs a pound. Okay? So just this container alone with 16 ounces of water in it weighs a pound. Now I'm going to throw in a packet of ramen noodles and refried beans and let that soak for an hour and a half. Well, I can tell you right away that that's going to add an incredible amount of weight to your pack. So the goal here isn't adding weight to your pack that's needless. In the video I watched, it gave a value of about 485 calories. So let's break that down. If you look at the ramen noodles, so you're going to get about 190 calories of ramen noodles. You're going to get 26 grams of carbs and only 4 grams of protein. The refried beans with a half a cup, okay, you're going to get 260 calories. You're going to get 38 grams of carbs, and you're going to get 14 grams of protein. Okay, so you're going to carry about 1.5 pounds of extra weight in your backpack for an hour and a half to rehydrate your dinner. Okay, well, let's look at some alternatives. That is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I know it sounds really old-fashioned, but it actually adds a lot of value to your body. So I've made myself 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I've got 2 loaves of bread, of grain bread. I've got 2 packets of jelly that I get at Chick-fil-A for free. And I have 2 packets of peanut butter that I can buy at Kroger at Walmart. So let's weigh it. So my weight here is approximately 6 ounces. So right then and there, I'm saving a lot of weight. But you're saying, but Scott, you're carrying your stove. You're still carrying fuel. So the whole part of cold soaking is not to bring a stove and not to bring that extra weight. Okay, well, let's look at that. So remember, before I've even cold soaked anything, just my water alone is a pound. So here is what I bring as far as my cook system. I bring a very small thing of alcohol. This alcohol right here would last me for 4 nights. That's a cup of coffee in the morning and 1 hot dinner at night. I've also got my Tokes alcohol stove, okay? I've got a 900 milliliter of a pot. So let's just look at my cook system along with my peanut butter and jelly. So this alone weighs 7 ounces. So right there, I am almost, if not lighter, than cold soaking your food. Now, I didn't even add the meal to the water. So you're looking at about 1.5 pounds with the refried beans and the ramen noodles in the water. Having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and a stove. I get my cold meal, but I still get to keep my cook stove. I still get to keep my stove for cooking a hot meal. You're saying, yeah, but what are the calories? What are the calories in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Well, I looked. So peanut butter and jelly sandwich, if you spread the peanut butter on a little thick, which you probably want to, you have 14 grams of protein. You have 54 grams of carbohydrates. But here's the thing that you're going to get out of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or cooking a hot meal that you're not going to get with cold soaking your food. And this is what your body needs the most. You're not going to get fat. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich can give you up to 20 grams of fat. The cold soaking, the ramen bomb gives you hardly any grams of fat at all. And that is what you're going to need to sustain your thru hike. You're going to need that fat in your body so your body can burn that, turn that into energy. Not only does it keep you warmer at night, but it's going to sustain you on a longer distance day when you want to push, the 15 to 18 to even maybe 20 miles that day. You're going to need all that fat to keep burning into energy. So you want to look for foods that are high in saturated fat. That's what you're going to look for. They're also going to be lightweight. They're going to help sustain you. What you like to eat on the Appalachian Trail is going to be mentally stimulating for you. If you're going to eat something that tastes really good, that makes you happy, you're going to be happy. If you're going to eat something that makes you gag, and just because it's trendy, you're really gonna say, wow, I can't wait tomorrow to, dry gag. No, that's mentally not stimulating. So, make sure that you're doing things that are going to be beneficial to you. These are all essential tips that are going to help you reach Katahdin. It's all about mental preparedness and making sure that you don't get in the same food routine all the time. Remember, use your body as a piece of gear. Learn what it's going to do in the beginning of your hike. Learn what it's going to do when hiker hunger sets in. Learn what it's going to do. Does it need a hot meal? Do you really want to cold soak it? And look at your calorie count. Look at what foods are going to be beneficial to you so you can get through your hike. Again, if you like these YouTube videos, please share our YouTube videos on some of our Facebook groups, especially the Appalachian Trail groups. They could really use a lot of some good tips. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate all the support and love that you guys give us. Remember, it's a mental game. Do your homework. Don't rely on somebody else's stuff. Do your own research, which we encourage you to do. Do your own planning. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the trail.